How to run a strategy session. I love strategy sessions. In fact, before strategy sessions were strategy sessions in 1996, we made this up and we just called it a free 30-minute session. So this was way, way, way before they actually got more formal. So what got a strategy session more formal? The Coaching Institute. The coaching industry, that community of people wanted to do a very specific thing to uncover your problem. So let's talk about 3 things that create a really great strategy session. Number 1 is defining your expertise clearly and what the outcome of the process is going to be. So some of you have different ways that you're going to do a strategy session. We'll talk about that. Number 2 is focusing on the client's challenges, their problems. What are the problems that you're going to solve? And then last, you either end with clear next steps, which could be a sale. So let's begin. A strategy session is typically something where you give a free 30-minute session. That's kind of how it started in the coaching world in the 90s when the International Coach Federation, the ICF, came up. All the coaches, that came about. I mean, I was early stage being trained as a master level coach. When you think about a strategy session, it's why I designed the gap analysis the way that I did. It sets up a perfect strategy session. So I want you to actually go through a strategy session with our team. I want you to read the first 3 chapters of the Millionaire Maker book, up to the gap analysis. So a gap analysis for all of you isn't just my idea. It's an idea that you could all borrow and use. You can give me a little credit if you want. But it basically is, where's your baseline? Where are you now? And what do you want? So we call it baseline and financial freedom day in my words. And then the middle, right? So this gives you your gap, right? Where are you? What do you want? Now, if you're in marketing, you could say, well, what's your current marketing level? What do you want? If you're in nutrition, you could say, where is your baseline for nutrition? And what do you want? You could use this anywhere. You could do it for engineering, for construction, is where are people and what do they want? When you can identify a gap that's appropriate, an appropriate gap derives motivation because I'm done being here. I want to be here. I need a plan. This is where you come in. So then number 2, you're actually solving some challenges. So in our situation, I'll say that our strategy session is about identifying your problem. Where are you? What do you want? And then our planning comes in the form of income and assets because that's the business we're in. Yours could come in a different format. So whatever your formats are, you can use this to identify the challenges that people have, the problems they have. It is not to be the expert. It's not to be the coach. It is not to be the person to actually then go through and give a solution. Where a lot of you, and I'm going to speak to women, you go wrong is you actually start coaching, consulting, giving the answer during the session. All you're doing in a strategy session is identifying where they are, what they want, and other challenges that surround all of that. Then once they're done, that's what I call the big ask. You tell them why you are the solution. You don't tell them how you're going to do it. You tell them what you're going to do to them and why it is important that that happens to them. So you create some certainty in that second step of having you know that this is your problem. Our team has the solution. So in our situation, you would be mentored by me, coached by other experts, put on a mastermind team, and then true experts who have licenses like tax strategists, like lawyers, IRA specialists, self-directed IRA specialists, funding experts, capital experts. There's so many things in money that I'm going to say you don't even know what you don't even know to ask for. So the reason we do strategy sessions is to identify where are you, what do you do to yourself, and then just verify, right, through the tell, this is how we can help you. You're not going to do it. You're just going to identify and create some validity that you are the answer to the problem. Then you're going into your 3rd section of the strategy session, which is the final ask, which is, what is your next step? Do you want to start today? And you ask for the money. You actually ask for a close. Now, if the beginning of the session was very tenuous and you say, well, what's your hesitation? I always love this question. I always say, scale of 1 to 10, how coachable are you? How ready are you to change? Are you willing to spend any money on tuition to actually have that change in your life? Those are a lot of the kind of closing, asking questions. What do you want next? If the client isn't ready, potential client isn't ready, really what I would say, you say, well, what do you need today to help move you forward? So for me, it could be sending them back to my YouTube channel to watch 25 hours, which by the way, in the link below, if you actually watch 25 hours and binge watch my YouTube channel, you can get $750 credited towards a new tuition. It's phenomenal. And then you could just give something. So if they have a huge issue with debt, so then I'll send out a debt calculator. If they have a huge issue with lazy assets. I'll send out like part of my wealth cycle book on teaching them about alternative investing and how investing in depreciating assets is so valuable to their tax benefits. If they need a tax report, we send out a tax report. So you may have 2, 3, 4 strategy sessions before you actually sell a higher ticket. But typically you can do a strategy session in 5, 7 minutes and sell anything for $25, $50, $100. I mean, those are quick sales. People spend that kind of money all the time. So before I continue on and tell you all the other fun parts of a strategy session, I love them. I want you to subscribe to our channel, be here 5 days a week, click that notification button so you're getting it on your phone and or your devices, and actually watch the video. Like really start learning and consuming. And when I know that you've really integrated this into your life, it's when you can actually share accurately what you're learning with other people. The questions I always ask people is, what are you learning and what are you doing about it? Because a lot of you just love to whine about stuff. You aren't really doing anything about it or doing the right action. And I think it's fascinating, which is probably why I love strategy sessions. We have an amazing strategy team here at Integrated Wealth Systems, is because so many of you have business and money problems and you've never been mentored or helped. It's shocking to me, quite frankly, because this is the infrastructure of your entire life. You have to have cash flow to live. So you spend a lot of other money on a lot of other things, like your vehicle. I always say your vehicle probably in your driveway is more expensive than any money you spent on your own development. That's odd. Right? So I want you to really think, how serious are you about the changes you want? If you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're an engineer, I'd love to teach you how to have strategy sessions. They could be discovery calls. They could be marketing oversight calls. You can call them what you want to call them. But essentially, it's a 30 to 45-minute session that is looking at someone's where they are, what do they want, and how can you be the solution to their problem, collect some money, and then you fulfill. And I cannot tell you that is the biggest mistake with small business owners. They get into a conversation. They don't structure the conversation with any guardrails, we call them. So without those guardrails, you just kind of wander around in a conversation. You end up in personal conversations. You talk about the dogs and cats. You talk about where you're going on vacation. You talk about all these other things. It is a very intentional, descriptive call that is all about one thing: identifying problems, verifying you're the solution, asking for the next step and or the money. If you have any questions or want to learn how to do this, I'm going to give you 2 tickets to my Millionaire Intensive. There is no better place to be. And you can come every month for the whole year. Between now, we're doing one more in 2024. We have a whole year of 2025 planned. And the first section is about corporate life. It's what you need to live corporate life as your infrastructure, like your actual technical systems. Then it's how you come up with an offer. And then you actually have 3 hours to do these strategy sessions in our room, and then go on to a Facebook group to continue to make money with our community. So I'd love to serve you, love to help you. Go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL, make a request about something, and we'll be right back with you tomorrow with more content.